Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. So it's about 4 o'clock, 28.9 degrees Celsius, 43% humidity. It is still the last day of July, Friday, 84.9 degrees centigrade. And my batteries are back into a charge mode. They were charged fully this morning, that Energizer back there, but now we're back into charge mode. I gotta go into work tonight. I'm supposed to be off this week, but I have to go into work tonight because the company that sold me shorted me my vacation time buyout, and the company wants to be completely rid of us as soon as possible. So my choice is to go in tonight or to kiss off about $500 worth of vacation time. So obviously I got to go in tonight. You know, when it comes to a pet peeve, something that I will always rant about, something that really annoys me, well, frankly, it outright pisses me off, is when you work for somebody and it's time to get paid or time to get your last paycheck, then the games start. That always spun me up. When I was in the family construction business, you know, particularly with my father, when it was time to get paid, it would always come, you know, oh, but you didn't, or you should have, or you know, it's like, yo, it's X amount of dollars a week, pay me. Yeah, but, what, yeah, but, you know, that used to annoy the hell out of me with the family construction business. As a matter of fact, it's the biggest reason why I refuse to have anything to do with the family construction business, because if I wasn't going to control it, that meant that other family members were, and there would always be the pay games, and I don't like to be trifled with when it comes to my money. Pay me what we agree to. Pay me that what I have coming to me. Do not play with me when it's time to get paid. I don't play with somebody when it's time to work. I shouldn't be played with when it's time to get paid. Anyway, so hopefully after today's little or extra trip in, I can get that figured out, and hopefully they cut me a check properly this time and I get paid. While I was working around down here, I started up the 2 generators just to make sure they're in good shape. They both started easily, first try. The Generac's a pull only, and once again, first pull she was running. The True Life is electric and pull, but I used the electric starter to see if the battery was any good, and once again, first try, she was running. So I started them up. Well, actually I put a little more stable gas in both of them, a little stabilizer, you know, the stuff to keep the gas from going nasty, and I put a little seafoam in the both of them, give them a quick shake, started them up, let them both run 15 minutes with a 100-watt load on them, and they both did fine, which is good. Also, while I was poking around down here, I discovered that is a 200X gas tank. It's in really nice shape. Out of all these, there's a 200S gas tank that's in nice shape. And believe it or not, that guy over there, a 200ES gas tank's in halfway decent shape. I didn't think I had any gas tanks in any kind of decent shape, so I was happy to find those 3. If you guys walk around the Horde, you realize that almost none of my bikes are wearing gas tanks. Well, the reason why is because I don't have any decent gas tanks. And it looks like I found a few, so a few of my bike could actually finish getting put back together again. So I'm happy about discovering those things. I tidied up a little bit just to, you know, tighten things up. The only way to straighten this garage out is really to get half the stuff out of here, or 3/4 of the stuff out of here, or actually all the stuff out of here, and only let about 1/3 of it back in, or half, or 1/4 of it back in, not even half, because this place is stuffed. But you guys remember this thing? I bought it just before I went on vacation. I took it out for a ride, and it starts and it runs good, and the ride was very nice, except for one thing. It was kind of spraying gasoline on my leg. And I'm not sure. Well, I know the carburetor leaks gas. That's a yes. I know that. Okay, write that down. But I'm not sure if the gas tank is leaking gas. So I kind of poked around on this thing. And by the way, this is the first time you guys actually ever see me really work in this area of the garage. So when I get a picture of it. Looks like it's easy enough to remove. 4 bolts hold the engine on, 2 front, 2 back. This assembly, including the bearing, I don't know, could you guys see there? This is like 1 bolt loosens the bearing support down there, and this looks like it's all bolted right up to the engine. Couple of bolts to get the exhaust off. I think it's going to be easier to just tear the engine off this thing and work on it that way. Looks like about this chain, right, it's easy to just break it at the master link. To be honest, I wouldn't mind putting it in, I don't know, a little transmission fluid or something, lubricating that up. Yeah, this bike, they were really pushing it as cherry, as mint, as perfect, as, you know, immaculate, as showroom, but it's really anything but. Silly things like this. I gotta really clean this off before I take it out and ride it much, because if not, what it does is it shreds. That rust will shred the seal, and then the shocks will be dead. Right, so I gotta clean that up. Normally it's not bad, so I'm probably just gonna get some steel wool and transmission fluid and clean it up that way. So I have to do that. I think once again, it starts, it runs, it moves. It seems to do pretty good on that. Though the carburetor seems a little squirrely, and it seems to be leaking a little gas. So I should get in there to figure out what the heck is going on. The motor is basically a Predator motor. This one has an extra stator coil in it, right, to run the headlight. You can't run a headlight if you don't have a battery or a stator coil to run the headlight, or both, an extra stator coil, that is. So it doesn't have a battery, which means it has to have a stator coil. That's an AC headlight. And yeah, it looks like probably what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to pull the engine from this. I'm not supposed to get any rain today, so, but just in case, I am going to bring the generators and the tools in, because, you know, you have something like this and you end up with an inch of water on here, and it just screws up everything. Even a tiny little bit of rain will make a mess. So I am gonna get the tools and cardboard and boxes and so forth in, because I just as soon not have to spend a half a day tomorrow dumping boxes out and drying everything. So I will get this stuff in. What I'd also like to do tomorrow is is get the Cushman out and kind of get this unloaded, right? And see what's going on with this corner. I told you guys yesterday the beams run like this, so once I get the door out of here, I'll have to put a steel I-beam and I'll jack it up, and that'll support this corner. I gotta get all this trim work off anyway to change the door. When I do that, I'll just put up 2x4 on each side and use that, and then I'll put a 4-foot piece of plywood and I don't know, maybe a tarp across the top. I'm not going anywhere over the next several days, so I'm not worried about somebody breaking in here. If they broke in here, they're lucky if they don't trip over something and die for their efforts. Yeah, right now it's kind of hard to show you, but it's kind of like this pushed toward me. I don't know if you look at that, about an inch on the bottom. So I'm debating exactly how to deal with it. You know, there's always like the right way and the wrong way of the right way. The real right way would be to jack this whole corner up and take the blocks down and replace the entire corner of the house. Well, that's not trivial. And here where I live, I think that will require a building permit because you're doing something theoretically structural. I mean, they'd have to catch me, and obviously if you're going to go through that much trouble, why would you want to do it wrong? But I don't think I'm going to go that far. I'm still... It depends what I find when I take it all apart. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack it up and get the weight off, and then I'm going to try to repair that down low. Try to get it out to where it should be, get it repaired, you know, which is going to require some chisel work and some profanity. Right, I'll get that straightened out. What caused this whole affair was they used to have a wall, and this has been about in this condition since I moved in here 20 years ago, 19 years ago. They used to have a railroad tie wall pressed up against here, and they weren't very good about the gutters, so there was a lot of gutter water behind that wall. This whole thing used to be more toward the driveway. It used to be up higher and held back with a wall. We terraced it and obviously planted stuff here. Anyway, all that stuff leaning against the corner of the foundation pushed on it and eventually obviously broke it down low. So the problem of the water pressure and all that is now gone. It's just a matter of making it better. I was thinking of using bricks, cement bricks and mortar to put it together, then get the page, you know, the cement coating, the page job over it, so one wouldn't be looking at it going, what the hell happened here? But I got to get that whole thing unburied first. Haha, snake. Don't worry, it's fake. There were some characters who were working on the house, and one of them pulled it. One of those guys pulled that snake out of a tool bag and threw it to another guy while they were working on the roof, and the guy almost jumped off the roof to his death. I'm like, you know, and I'm yelling at him. I'm like, you effing a-holes, you know, this is all very funny, but it isn't going to be funny when one of you is lying dead down there and your spouse is suing me because you're throwing rubber snakes at each other. So I took it away from them, and it's been floating around the garage for a while. So anyway, the rubber snake story. Yeah, when I work down here, there's all kinds of crap that I find, including rubber snakes. Alright folks, I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your head up. Remember to get out there and enjoy all your days. Nobody's sure how many we're all getting, so make sure you get out there and enjoy your share, huh? Anyway, take care folks. Bye.